Hi, this is Dr. Thomas Rocco from CBD Health Podcast. Today's guest is Eryn Roberts. She is the CEO of a new company in Massachusetts called Effulgence. It is a CBD company that's making a luxury spa brand. The website is www.effulgenceboston.com. That's EFFULGENCEBOSTON.com. She's here to discuss her company, how she got involved, some of her experiences with her family members, and how she got into getting into the CBD business. And she's doing it for the right reason. Eryn, thanks for taking your time at CBD Health Podcast to speak with me during your busy schedule. Hi, Eryn.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks
Good.
for speaking with me today. I think the last time we tried to speak, there was something wrong with our connection. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I know it feels wonky. It's okay.
So, but thanks for taking your time out and talk to me about your products.
Absolutely.
So you're out of Massachusetts, is that right?
Yes,
Great. Yeah, because I'm in Rhode Island. We're close. We're neighbors.
definitely. Right down the street.
Right down the street. I mean,
Yeah.
I drive through Massachusetts every day.
Do
Even
you
though
really?
yeah, I'm always Rhode Island's so small. You sneeze and you're in Massachusetts. It's
Oh, really?
unbelievable.
I'm probably literally only like 25 minutes away from Rhode Island. I live like right there, a little bit close to the border, like near that Attleboro,
Right,
North Attleboro, right there. So
right.
definitely familiar.
I'm in Attleboro pretty much every weekend because of my family. For my daughter's a figure skater, so
Oh yeah. Oh
we're at the
wow.
rink every Sunday night. So, like I
Oh,
said, your Massachusetts, Rhode Island essentially should be the same state. So, tell me
exactly.
a little bit about. So, let me see if I can say this right. Is it Effulgence? Am I saying it right?
You actually are. You actually definitely the closest that has ever gotten to it, but you're right on spot with it.
How do you say
Effulgence.
it?
Effulgence. No, you said it correctly.
Effulgence.
Effulgence. Yep.
Effulgence.
Yes.
So it's a CB. This is a CBD company you own,
Yes.
right?
So yes.
Do you make the CBD or do you white label it?
No, I actually can cultivate and manufacture myself. So it's actually me and my uncle that do it together. He's actually my other partner, and
Right.
he was the one that actually introduced it to me. He actually had prostate cancer, and actually introduced my father who had prostate cancer, and then I have endometriosis. So
Mhm.
my whole family actually just ended up just being accustomed to it, and to a
Right.
point that it just became a part of our daily lives.
Right. So it became part of your lives and you figure, let me do this and,
Oh yeah.
give it, educate people and make the right product so it helps other people, which it seems like most people who are have actually have to say that recently, most people that are getting into this are people that use the product, saw its effects and its benefits, and then they wanted to go further with it. I have to say, when I first started getting into CBD and did podcasts, prior to that, it seemed like people were just doing it for a money grab. But now there's a little bit more regulations to it. Still not perfect, but I think the people that are doing it for the right reasons.
Oh, I agree.
Not, obviously you want to make some type of living, but it's the people I talk to now are really trying to make sure it's a viable product that's safe, third party tested, and it's going to help, the person that's using it.
Oh, absolutely. And I do go through that whole process. It is a
Mhm.
journey. I am a small business. I'm not corporate.
Right.
I don't get any government assistance, so any
Right.
social equity. So I do take the steps. So it is a little bit longer, but there is a lot of us out there. And yes,
Mhm.
the whole steps are third party tested,
Right.
just networking, going to the events. I actually went as a special guest to the MCAN convention at the Heinz over there.
Nice.
So yeah, that was actually a great experience. Montel Williams was there. I met
No
some friends I
kidding.
haven't seen in years. Yeah, so it was great. It was great.
Did you have to give a speech?
I did not, but the person that I was there with, they're called the Bay Staters. They actually decriminalized psychedelics in the state of Massachusetts. So they were
Mhm.
actually speaking, and I came there as their guest.
That's interesting. Rhode Island, they've been talking about that as well, about the psychedelics. It's a whole different
Yeah, it's a
subject,
movement. Yeah,
which I'm telling you, I still need to learn more about that. It's
definitely.
I'm not really up on that. I'll be honest with you. In medical school, we were not taught marijuana other than a couple of simple things.
Right.
At the time when I was in med school in the 90s, they didn't think there was any medicinal help. They talked about side effects from it and if you were an emergency room doctor, what to look for.
Mm,
And that's why I got into it about 10 years ago, because there was an opportunity for me to help people educate. But for me, I thought it was more about me educating myself because it was becoming so popular. So at least now I can talk about it as a person, but also as a physician, just to give the right information. So it really has come a long way. We're still steps behind what's happening in Europe, but
right.
we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. So
Right.
how long have you done this? Like, how long have you had this small business?
We've been established ever since 2020. So like I said, like it was definitely steps. So right now I'm actually at the point of expansion of going into my online. So my website is in review. I do use Paybiotic. They're actually great. So they're
Okay.
familiar with like our area, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, things like that. Ever since, I think I've been building my website ever since June, July. And they've been sticking with me ever since.
Good.
So
So
it's a process, yeah, but it's
it is a
great.
process. I
Yeah.
have a little CBD website for education, a couple of products that we get from other companies. But the difficulty, it's almost as if you're selling drugs to people, and
Right.
there's so many barriers. Forget just getting a bank to back you. I can't tell you how many things have been stopped when we try to promote something because they think we're doing something different. It's really
Oh, absolutely.
very difficult. There's so many barriers. So the website I have now, it's www. I'm going to say effulgenceboston.com. Is that going to be the same website? Is it going to be a different website when it's all said and done? Are you still there? Did I lose you? Did I lose you? Eryn, are you still there? What happened here? Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Yeah. So the new website, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be the same thing as I have here, effulgenceboston.com, or is it going to be something different when it's all said and done?
No, that's going to be the website.
That's going to be a
That's the
website.
website name.
Because I did go on the website and you have to explain to me like a little bit. Like I like the things you say here, chronic biodiesel fuel, new organic full spectrum CBD line. But this whole luxury spa brand, that sounds very interesting. What does that mean?
Okay, so where I came from with the luxury spa brand, that's just the quality of it. So for us with our product, we use live CBD or living CBD, which means
Right.
that we use whole buds. We don't use, shake or anything like that.
Right.
We do stay as organic as possible. Naturally, just for me, I try to eat, vegan, alkaline vegan as possible, just due to my condition. So it's more of trying to, push that we're not trying, we're here to help, to support.
Right.
We go through the same chronic issues on a daily basis. Like I said, like you said, like it's a popular industry, but we here going to work 9 to 5, dealing with our issues, but also trying to, help other people too on a daily basis.
Right.
But also on a flip side, I kind of took a new approach of, instead of making my products look like, prescriptions, like how it does in the dispensary, to try to make it look like a spa brand that you would find in the actual spa.
No, so when I saw the luxury spa brand, I thought it was more like something you would find at a spa that you would use maybe with a massage. That's the first thing I thought.
No, that is the goal. I do have some, some masseuses or even spas that are interested in my product that I'm actually operating right now to manufacture, to get together right now to present the product. So
Right.
definitely on those lines, I'm there.
But it's something you ingest also.
Absolutely.
Right.
Topical and topical.
Topical. So when you say that, are you using the oils as a topical, or are you making a whole separate oils that use, topical, and the other oils that use internally?
No, it is the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yes. So I am working. So right now it is the same thing. You could use the same oil topically and orally. I am working on flavors, just, just
Yeah.
to make it interesting.
Yeah,
But yes, you
definitely.
could do both for sure. Yes. And then I am in the process as well of I've actually created my balms, salves,
Mhm.
and going forth with my lotion. So it's the picture, the vision is like a whole spa product line, but with the
Right.
whole CB thing. Yeah.
Right. So that's why I was looking. I thought, all right, this to me, I just looking at the website, I thought, okay, this sounds kind of different. I like this.
Yeah. And I'm
Totally
hoping, I
different.
mean, to be honest, I'm hoping, to collaborate in makeup. So, I'm trying to have my own platform,
Right.
because as you know, it's so hard.
It is so hard.
Yeah.
So you've been involved with this from 2020. Everything's going okay. I mean, everything's going forward. You feel like
Uh,
you're making steps for progress, and
oh yes, definitely. I mean, there's definitely hiccups, but you got to just keep,
I know.
going forward. I always tell people, try to keep it simple as possible. It's a new industry. Things change every day,
Right.
and it's hard, but you got to stay consistent.
Are you growing and producing your CBD in Massachusetts or somewhere else?
I'm actually in the process of doing that now. So I do have land that I'm actually doing, and I am actually in the talks with another dispensary right now that is looking for cultivators and actually vendors and stuff like that. Actually, a close friend of mine.
Right.
So literally from this weekend from the convention to now, I'm literally getting my whole business just in that structure so I can be up and ready to go.
I had listened in to some people talking about making kind of a place to grow marijuana in Massachusetts. And somebody that I knew had got a license and approval to do it.
Hmm.
And he thought, you know, I had no idea. I was just listening in.
Yeah.
But the amount of money that was required to do it correctly per the regulations, specifically for marijuana, because of it being considered a drug, Schedule One drug, but the amount of security and ventilation for that plant was millions and millions of dollars. Initially they thought it was going to be, maybe $1 million. It was upwards of, 15 to 20 million dollars to do it correctly.
Yes.
And the idea that they had was doing a place where you grow marijuana, but it was more like Uber marijuana. We wanted to help medical patients who couldn't get to dispensaries. We wanted to grow it and then be able to transport it.
Hmm.
But when we heard about all the steps and the amount of money, it kind of stopped right there. Like there's a lot of steps and a process to it. Because like you said, you have to the first thing was getting the approval to do it, but getting the right town that would approve you to allow you to do it was another, getting the right area. You can't just do it in some residential area. You have to, go in a certain area. So there was a lot of
Right.
steps.
Right. And
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's to a point where the structure is so off that even when you get to a point of your facility getting audited,
Right.
the process isn't even the same. One auditor could say this, the other auditor could say that in the same
Right.
state. So it's
Right.
so
I know.
it's
So
crazy.
all I'm saying to you, you have a marathon. It's, not going to be a sprint. There's a lot of steps. But
Absolutely.
I've heard through some of them, haven't gone through any of them. I've been involved with medical marijuana in the state of Rhode Island for about 10 or 12 years.
Mhm.
So I hear things, see things. I'm always kind of involved on the outskirts, but it's interesting listening about, what the process is. It's not as easy as people think.
Right. No,
Um,
no. And even with my own specific situation, I can let you know that me even getting into this industry, I
mhm,
was at first supposed to go under someone, was the Royalty Cannabis Group. They're
mhm.
actually in the process of selling their license, a retail and cultivation license. And what happened with them is that our cultivation, some, basically some corrupt practices was happening. A corporate
Right,
came in,
sure.
made a slide deal, and then we lost our land that way. So that's why I
Wow.
decided that I had to just keep pushing on my own.
Right,
So there's a lot of that going on, even if, you're a well-established person in the city, that as long as there's money, you know what I mean,
right,
people are making those type of deals, and it's
right.
it's not fair. It's not fair to us.
So I don't know what happens in Massachusetts. I know in Rhode Island, they used to sell CBD at the dispensaries,
Mhm.
but I think now they're not. I think it's only THC products, and obviously there could be some hybrids with CBD, but the CBD that you can buy without a medical marijuana license is not really sold at the dispensaries in Rhode Island. I don't know. I'm not sure what's happening with Massachusetts with that at all.
Well,
Um,
Massachusetts, you could definitely find them within like your local pharmacy,
yeah,
CVS, Shaw's,
right,
any of those for sure.
right.
Some dispensaries, I do see, some
Um,
CBD. I think that's just for the possibly just that marketing aspect,
right,
of those type of clients. But no, you're right. Like I don't see much in the dispensary, which kind of
right,
a little bit kind of gives a little bit of wiggle room
right,
to kind of operate as an actual business without the other
right.
policies and
Not the,
laws that haven't been made
right.
yet. Yeah,
But I think that you doing this as a CBD company, and Massachusetts, the dispensaries are popping all over the place. I don't think it's going to affect you at all. That's what I'm trying to say. I think, without the THC, there's a place for it, and I don't think the dispensaries are going to be a burden to your company,
yeah,
because people are going there to get the THC, and again, I think, obviously you don't need a license to go to the dispensaries in Massachusetts like Rhode Island.
correct.
It costs a little bit more, but I don't think it should be an issue with you. I wouldn't, for me, I wouldn't worry about it, in terms of your
I'm hoping
company.
not.
Yeah, I don't think
For
it
sure.
should. I really, it really is apples and oranges, even though it's coming from the same plant.
Right, right.
People that really don't want a high, don't want the psychoactive effect, use the CBD.
Definitely.
My feeling is, what my goal is, not only just, offer some products, but more about the education, the right dosing. Like for
Absolutely. That's
THC, you
important.
tell people don't start more than 2.5 to 5 milligrams. Well, with CBD, you might need a higher dose
Right.
for anxiety and pain. People a lot of times will call me and say, I don't understand. I took 5 milligrams of CBD, it didn't work. I'm like, well, it's way too low. You got to go higher. It's
Yeah,
different than THC. So,
definitely. I hear
so,
that a lot as well.
I mean, they're cousins, the CBD, the THC, but it definitely, I don't think it's going to affect you. I cannot believe how many dispensaries are opening in Massachusetts. It's
I
unbelievable.
know it's like it's
Insane.
almost like a corner store, to be honest with you, the way how I'm seeing it.
It's insane. There's like the highway signs. I would say every third one is about a cannabis place in a
Right.
new place, right? Isn't it
Right.
unbelievable? It's insane.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Rhode Island, they have three. And now that it became recreational, they're opening up. I think there's 3 to 5 more that are available. But you don't see any signs about them.
Mhm.
Massachusetts, I crossed the
I
state
know.
line from Rhode Island, and there's a sign about somebody selling weed. Always, they're always the best weed in the state,
For sure, right?
right? Oh, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. So, but I don't think that's going to have an impact on you at all, because it's really different. People that are buying your product are thinking differently than, in most cases, than going to a dispensary and getting THC. So,
I'm to be honest with you, I'm really hoping so. My target market is that I really hit the, veterans assistant living,
right,
you know what I
right,
mean? So, and those, in that demographic, usually, most of them sometimes, haven't touched that, cannabis at all and feel more
right,
comfortable with,
right.
CBD. So,
So the
yeah,
one thing I'll tell you is, you just make sure people understand they're not going to get a high. I can't tell you how many older patients think that even CBD, you get a high.
absolutely.
Like that, they're very concerned about that. That's not the case. Um, I did speak to a company in Rhode Island, and gosh, I wish I knew the name of it. It's down in like South County. I'm drawing a blank, but they grow outdoors, and they obviously grow only in the summer. So that's one of the few places in this area that I know that it's CBD company growing their own product. And I gotta think about it. It's on one of the podcasts. I spoke to him a couple months ago, and
Mhm.
but it's an outdoor facility. I'm not sure if you're growing indoors or outdoors, what your plan is, but they seem they're doing okay. I mean, they're doing pretty well. So
Okay, nice. Yeah,
they
it
had
is.
it.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
They had invited me to go down there. I just haven't had a chance. I'd love to see, like, I know the production process isn't easy. It takes
Mhm.
time. You have to harvest a crop, and then you got to dry it out. And then there's other steps to make it a good product. It's not
Oh, for
easy.
sure. Yeah, the whole curing process. And that's the thing, even, I mean, you know, with New England, of course, we love it, we hate it,
Yeah,
but
right,
definitely it's only basically like a 3 month, you know, time span
right,
that we have outside. Everything else has to be indoor. So
right.
that's another part about being here. So even me, you know, I'm hoping like you know, I watch for other states as well, like Florida, I'm definitely interested in because
Mhm.
California is definitely oversupplied. They're even
Right.
looking to move out. So it's, you know, it's definitely an industry for everyone, but you gotta find your way. You know?
You're right. I know it's not easy, not easy.
Yeah.
But I think people are doing it much better than it was 6 years ago.
Oh,
I
absolutely. I
mean,
agree.
I think back then they were just mass producing really very bad CBD and making a lot of money. Um,
Yes. Oh, yeah.
so the other thing is this, and I know why CBD costs so much money because of the process. One of the things that I find is people find it works, but they just can't afford it. And these times it's financially tough for a lot of people.
Right.
And I don't know how we can make it cheaper. It's hard because there is a big process to making
Right.
CBD.
Yeah.
There's a lot of time and work involved.
No, it definitely is. And unfortunately, even with that, just alone, even with that, you know, you mean you can't do anything about that part. But just on like for me, how I would like to do, I mean, how I actually operate as a CEO is I like to do it in tiers. So even when I
Mhm.
go into whatever dispensaries or these, the pharmacies, there's no tiers, there's no different size bottles that target each group of
Right.
people, you know, middle
Mhm.
class, you know, anything like that of their
Right.
income.
Right.
And so it just, and even though, and just because it's in the store, you know, obviously people have more trust with it, but you know, it's that other part of having trust of, okay, no, we really care about you. We care about, you
Mhm.
know, how you're living. If this is affecting your income, but we still want to help and support you because we know that you
Right.
need.
Right. Right. No, I again, I agree with using medical marijuana for pain issues, other issues.
Absolutely, for sure.
The
Me
side
too.
effects are less than, the side effects are much less than prescription drugs, even as a doctor. But CBD, it really is. I mean, there's no side effects to it, and if it works, it
Right.
is so safe for your body.
It
There's
is. And
really, I don't find any. I don't know anything that could be a contraindication to it.
right. No, to really even with my journey, to be honest with you, you know, I have my medical card here in Massachusetts for my endometriosis pain. I do have
Mhm,
fibroids as well, that I do have to take the THC. That
mhm,
helps me, you know,
right.
just, you know, have my body relaxed to where I can just kind of like sleep through it.
Mhm,
And then the CBD is when, you know, if I'm up and going, you know, things like that. So
right.
it definitely, like you said, it's cousins to each other one way
Right.
or another.
Right.
Yeah.
I usually tell people use THC at night and then use your CBD
Right.
during the day.
Definitely.
Honestly, s- for medical marijuana, for me at least, if it's truly medical, there is some CBD in your medical marijuana with the THC because the
Right.
CBD definitely lowers your psychoactive effect and you get more of the medicinal effect.
Right.
People that just take THC, well, it's recreational, So
Mhm.
I have nothing wrong with that either. I think that THC is less of a burden than alcohol. Alcohol is a huge burden in
Same.
society. And I mean,
Same.
THC, I mean, come on, I love when the entertainers are going to rehab for marijuana. I mean, that is
I know.
it's such a lie. Are you kidding me? Like, it's not marijuana, it's something else. I mean, it
It's
sounds great. It's just, oh yeah, sure, it's marijuana. That's what they're going to rehab for. I mean, come on,
right.
give me a break. You know, I
It's
mean,
crazy. It's crazy.
right?
They'll do it. They'll say it for anything.
Because the people think of it as a bad drug, and
Yep.
it's just it kills me.
Right. I know. And I guess like that, like you said, like that's where the education about it comes in. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? And
right,
people to do, you know, accept the information that's given, you know,
right,
by your you know, primary care,
right.
by your medical cannabis doctor that you
Mhm,
see, but
right,
also do your research too. There's no harm in
right.
that. You know what
No,
I mean?
not at all. So, let's go back to your products, though.
Yes.
I was looking at, again, it's CBD oil. That's
Hmm.
that's the main thing you're making right now, but you
Yes.
have different oil bases. So again, natural, it's coconut or olive oil, which is
Yes.
kinda neat. That's
Yes.
nice. So that would be, I mean, obviously, like you said, you could take it internally, but it'd be great for something externally too, like we were talking about a massage or a topical.
Yes, for sure. And I did, and I did find even with my product, my development research, that there's some people out here that are allergic to olive oil or allergic to coconut oil. So it's definitely always to be versatile, no matter what. Right. So definitely customized to the individual.
Right. So anything else you're planning in the future with your company, or it seems like you have the CBD that you want, you're hoping to be able to start growing it, which is a whole different process. Anything else exciting that you're thinking about with your company?
Well, currently right now, so I am in collaboration with AdmiTech Foundation. They're here in Boston. They actually do lab research in regards to prostate cancer. So they actually put me on their platform to allow me to talk about my company and my uncle's story and my father's story. And so I'm hoping, from there, that gives me a little bit of attention along with other cannabis enthusiasts or just people in the medical field, to possibly even lead to a nonprofit to help people to get medical help, treatment centers. So, and I'm also from, I'm a millennial generation, and I do have a lot of friends that unfortunately overdosed a lot on the pharmaceuticals. So that's another part of it that I'm coming from as well.
Right. So tell me about your family and the prostate cancer. Is it something they felt that truly helped? That this is, it
Yes,
seems like that's one of the reasons why you got into this.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So like I said, the beginning when I told you, so it was my uncle that was diagnosed with the prostate cancer. He actually, in his own individual story, healed himself off of cannabis, just cannabis alone. He did not do any radiation, anything like that. My father, when he was diagnosed about 2 years ago, I actually was helping him, and we got his PSA down from a 14 to a 7. He did make his decision to do radiation after that, but if you speak to him now, he wishes that he never went that route. So we do believe that this has tremendously helped our family, whether emotionally, physically, and all of the above, Thomas, honestly.
So when he was treating it, was it mostly THC, or was it a combination of THC and CBD, or just CBD?
It was a combination. So what my father would do was at night, he would do the THC, he would do it through the rectum, and then the same thing through the morning. He does work still. This town of Stoughton, Massachusetts. So he does do part-time work, just transporting cars. So he still needed to, all throughout his treatment, he still needed to work, believe it or not, he really didn't need he couldn't really afford to take any time off, unfortunately. So the cannabis actually helped him a lot to keep going.
So he did rectal insertion of the CBD, and he did a little bit in the CBD in the morning and THC at night.
Yes.
And I'm going to assume even with the THC, he did get some of the psychoactive effect, because you still absorb it.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And it did bother him, but that's when he had, like everyone, with the microdosing, he took a little bit too much, wasn't prepared for it. So I had to teach him that whole process. So,
there are suppositories you can find. I've never ordered any for anybody. Did he do it? Did he do it as a suppository? Or he just did it topically himself?
He did it topically himself. So we actually did it through the syringe. So we do have the, so I do know how to make the concentrate or the Rick Simpson oil. And then we just, put it in the syringe, actually mixed it with coconut oil. And then, he took it. Just took it that way.
So tell me, how long did you treat him to go from 14 to 7 on the PSA? Was it a year? Was it a month? Was it weeks?
We actually seen results within 6 weeks. Wow. So I want to say between that 4-week to 6-week point, we've seen results. Wow. I can definitely, his story, he definitely has it pinpoint down, because him himself was so, so shocked, because he still has to be reprogrammed, especially being a police officer. And going through that whole process with the doctors of still trying to push him to do radiation. And then the doctors realizing, oh, wait, hold on. Well, you are getting better. So, now it's kind of your option now. Now So your dad educated the doctor. Oh, absolutely.
And I wonder if he recommends it for his other patients or not. So
It could,
It
you never know.
you never know.
Yeah, to
But
be
I
honest
had
with you, not to cut you off, I'm sorry,
no,
Thomas,
you're
but
not
like to be honest with you, even with my doctors, I tell them like it works longer, it works faster. All my doctors, all throughout my years, ever since I've been on cannabis, and that's ever since I was about 26. I'm 32 now. They told me just stay on it.
right.
That's, you know what I mean. So I'm
My first real experience with seeing it work was when I'm a hospice doctor too. And we had a pancreatic cancer patient. And usually when they have pancreatic cancer and they decide to stop their treatments, they usually die within 3 to 6 months.
mm,
And we had a woman and she lived for like 3 to 4 more years.
oh,
And I
wow.
even called her oncologist and I said, "What is going on? Like, is this the regular pancreatic cancer or something different?" And his comment was, "Well, I can't believe she's still alive." But what she would do was every day take THC from the dispensary
Mm-hmm.
in Rhode Island, and she would put a syringe with some rice and she would eat it every day. I couldn't tell you any
Mm.
other reason why her cancer kind of stayed at bay for more than we expected. But that was my first experience to really see, well, maybe this is the reason. I mean, there's most pancreatic cancer patients die very soon when they decide to stop therapy. She wasn't getting therapy, she wasn't getting radiation. She just lived her life. She loved smoking cigarettes. And she would have THC and rice every morning. I went to her house. She showed me. She showed me the syringe, the rice,
Oh
and
my
we
gosh.
couldn't believe how much longer she lived than most other pancreatic cancer patients on hospice. It was unbelievable. That was my first experience to see that, wow, actually, there is probably this is the reason why it helps. So,
Oh,
like,
definitely.
so
I
people
agree.
always contact me about using it for cancer issues. And I always say, don't stop the normal treatment, but do it in addition to it. It's not going to do any harm. If anything, I tell them these
Absolutely.
stories. There's a good chance of a benefit, just like your dad and your uncle. I mean, like these are good stories,
Absolutely.
right?
Definitely. No, I totally agree. And I do believe, like in my own personal journey, even with my endometriosis, I do believe that the cannabis did stop and reverse something in my body and trying to get
Right,
my body back to normal,
right,
because I did end up having to, do my surgery because my pain was so bad. And as they were in there, I did see, just what they were even telling me, that my body was healing just as, faster than they expected. Even when I was taking the cannabis. Now, endometriosis is when I don't know if you're familiar, but like the tissue lining of your body
right,
isn't, coming out.
right.
So even with me, when I started taking cannabis, I was starting to see the lining coming out. So I'm telling my doctor this just so they could be,
Right. Cognizant
informed,
of it.
when they
Yeah,
do. Yeah.
right,
So I do believe that it's something. Yeah. Like you
right.
said, for sure.
We're as a physician, most physicians at this point that are practicing know nothing about it, so they're always going to tell people what they know and what they've read.
Right.
It's going to take truly a full generation of doctors to understand that this is another option. I would say there was a in Rhode Island. This is like 8 years ago. Talking about THC, forget CBD.
Uh-huh.
They talked about marijuana. Do you agree, disagree, or not sure? And it essentially was cut in thirds. So all that meant to me is like 2/3 of doctors in this state don't want to have any questions about it because they don't know about it or they disagree with it. So, and it kind of goes on to CBD. It's the same kind of thing. Like it's the same plant. If they don't believe in THC, they're not going to believe in CBD. So, as we
Right.
inform people more and as we get more experiences like this, I think we're going to see a better role for it for real medical treatment. But it's still all about experiences at this point. It's always nice to hear these good experiences because it's important for people to know.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I would like to see, I mean, I don't know if Rhode Island's ever talked about it, but I know here in Massachusetts, we don't really have any facilitators, anyone that's willing to just, be a company to someone that is going through going through a session,
Right,
microdosing for the first time, and,
right,
and to call someone. So, I mean, it's very, I would like to see like a kind of like a buddy kind of
right,
system.
right.
And I would like to see a more of a a supply surplus with the small businesses,
Right.
or, you know, or just with anyone that, that just wants to be involved in the industry, period. And us, we help each other.
Right. And being in
Yeah.
Rhode Island, I know they have an Office of Cannabis Regulation. They'll tell you how it's regulated, but they're not there to educate you. That's part of, I work with another small practice with licensing for medical marijuana in Rhode Island. And that's what we want to be, is more of a basis for people to call for questions and get some information on how to dose. But
Right.
that's pretty much what we're kind of teaching them. But like you said, specific for cancer or specific for pain or specific for anxiety, we kind of give them ideas of how they should do it. But unfortunately, we're not like the doctor going, okay, when you're going to the oncology appointment, this is what you should tell them.
Right.
We haven't gotten to that point yet. Eventually, I think we will. Whoops.
Yeah, right.
Eventually we
Hopefully.
will. But it's hopefully it'll happen in my lifetime. I hope.
I know.
I hope it happens. Oh gosh. So, all right, I got to go back to work.
Okay.
So happy we connected. You got to keep me informed how things are going. It was so nice to talk to you. We are essentially neighbors.
I know. No,
Attleboro
definitely. I mean,
all the time.
yeah, no, I would definitely like to still connect with you in the future, Tom, for anything. I mean, you were great, so I loved your energy as well. So
good. If I can help you with anything, please contact me. But if something comes up, like just say you're doing something different, or the business is really going, you always call me. But I'm gonna send you all the links to this, and
okay.
for the video and the audio, and then I'll have it on the podcast hopefully soon.
Okay, perfect. No, excellent. Thank you so much, Thomas,
All right,
and great speaking with you.
so nice talking to you. Keep in touch. All right, Eryn.
Definitely.
All
You have
right.
a great day.
Thanks. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.